but the department's useful functions, and such as, and they're in charge of them. Pell Grants, Title I funding, resources for children with disabilities and special needs will be preserved, fully preserved. They're all going to be so. If you look at the Pell Grants, supposed to be a very good program, Title I funding.
But the president is clear about the funding that is going to continue to go to schools. And look, we've said we're going to work with different agencies. Where might some of the programs fit best? For instance, today, he stated that student loans were going to go over to SBA. And I've had a good conversation with Administrator Loeffler already about that. And we're going to work on a strategic plan together. We've talked also with Treasury and how can they be interactive in that process. Some of the IDEA programs return to HHS, and that's where they started. You know, Title I funding was in place before there was a Department of Education. IDEA funding for our children with disabilities and special needs was in place before there was a Department of Education. And it managed to work incredibly well. Since the Department of Education was established, we've spent over $3 trillion and watched our scores continue to go down. So I am not worried at all about continuing the funding and putting more money into the hands of the states for the state departments of education, the governors, the teachers. And believe me, we want parents involved in their children's education. I think that's crucial for the success to see our scores go up in those in all of the states.
Yeah. Trump's Project 2025 policy blueprint proposes turning Title I and IDEA funds into block grants, giving states full discretion over how to use the money. The plan also aims to phase out Title I funding entirely within 10 years. This approach could drastically reshape K-12 funding, with states deciding how to allocate funds without federal oversight. Education policy expert Bruce Baker, writing for the Albert Shanker Institute, warns that eliminating federal aid would lead to significant declines in student achievement, particularly for low-income and special education students. He also notes that block grants could worsen achievement gaps if states do not allocate funds based on need. Additionally, according to a leaked policy memo from the Heritage Foundation, Project 2025 seeks to expand education savings accounts, a voucher-like system that would divert public school funding to private and religious schools. This could further reduce public school funding and accelerate school privatization. In total, the Department of Education's budget exceeds $200 billion, including student aid, grants, and research funding. If Trump's plan succeeds, key funding allocations could look drastically different.